So science has it then that, and they're right, the trees are growing. That's right, okay? According to science, the trees are growing. The trees get stressed and they get sick. Oh, we know that. That happens, okay? But here's what science doesn't know. If the trees aren't growing properly in that simultaneous growth and support, that doesn't support the other feedback loops that the trees need in order to have sustainable growth, okay? And they need that in order to form communities, which is the way they live. They don't live as single trees. They live in communities, okay? We think, oh, I see a tree that's growing. It's not a bunch of trees just growing. They live in community. That's how they have to live, okay? All supporting each other as one. If they're not, we're not gonna have healthy trees, okay? They are gonna be stressed, and yes, the insects are gonna come and the diseases are gonna come. What you really wanna have is the trees growing properly and optimally. You'll still have some insects and some diseases, but if the trees are ultimately growing, everything can come back into balance, eventually come back into balance. Okay, you gotta deal with people disturbing the environment too, but you gotta deal with that. But at least you can get the trees back growing properly as they need to be growing. And that's the important piece here. The trees need to be growing properly, they need to be operating in community, and they can't today. In the way they're operating, and climate change is only going to make it worse. Our work with trees is to work with the internal functionality of the trees, finding out what's not operating inside of a sick or a stressed tree. That's what we do. They say, well, you ought to prune this, or you ought to do this, or you ought to do that. You know what? Those don't fix the inside of the tree. What we're trying to do is repair the inside of the tree. Get those parts, systems, and functions on the inside of the tree back connected again. Because that's what's wrong with the sick tree or the stressed tree. Now, so that compares us to conventional work. Conventional work works on the outside of the tree. They prune the tree, they put fertilizer on the tree, they spray insecticides on the tree, they spray fungicides on the tree. I'm not saying any of those things are wrong. The only thing is they don't address the inside of the tree, the internal functionality of the tree. And that's what we do. We address that internal functionality of the tree. Make sure the circulation is right inside of the tree. Make sure the tree is making enough food to support itself. Make sure it's putting on enough leaves to make enough food, and so on and so forth. And it's this drives this, drives this, drives this. It's all on the inside of the tree. And that has to be right first in order for the sick tree to be healthy. You can put all the other things you want on the tree, but unless all those things are operating right, the tree is not going to be healthy. Because people don't want to use insecticides, they don't want to use fungicides, so what they'll do is they'll go along with trying this, because guess what? There's no other alternative, okay? Yeah, you can use soaps and things like that, but those aren't very effective. This is all about giving those insects and diseases a place to live. And what is really the big picture is about bringing balance back. And all the interference humans have caused because they haven't asked the trees or the plants or the insects or diseases what they've needed, we've actually interfered with them. So then we interfere with them, they get out of balance, and then we start spraying them to try and kill them and control them and this, doing that, and this, that, and the other thing. All right. So what we're doing is saying, okay, let's bring that back into balance. Give the insects a place to live, give the diseases a place to live. Again, we're using this for people who don't want to use insecticides or fungicides, who honestly see the environmental value to bringing balance back to the whole environment. That's what we're trying to do. But the main thing, our main thrust of our work, is to bring back the internal functionality of the trees, the sick tree. It's not always about insects and diseases. It's not that. It's not always about pruning the tree. It's those add internal functionality. If the tree isn't making enough food to support itself, it's going to be a sick tree. What happens is the tree gets out of balance on the inside. It can't make enough food, therefore it doesn't grow right. It gets out of balance on the inside and therefore gets sick. That's exactly how this happens. All right? So what we're doing is getting those parts back connected again inside of the tree. The tree can make enough food for itself, get the circulation going, so on and so forth, whatever else needs to happen. Bring back the balance back to the tree again, grow more roots, grow more top, whatever it needs to do. Bring the balance back to the tree again, and then the tree can return and start to be a healthy tree. So people, they ask, how do we do all this? Well, the fact is, we work with the energy of the tree and we communicate with the tree. It's that simple. You can have an intuitive communication with that tree in order to do it. But you can say, well, I don't believe in that. Well, great. Don't believe in it? Fine. What do you have? What else do you have to work on the internal functionality of the tree? You're going to go out with the tests, do tests, you'll be there all day. And even when you do the test, the only thing you're going to get is 1 or 2 pieces to the puzzle. That's not going to help you solve what's going on inside of the tree. You need to work with the whole inside of the tree to find out what's going on. And the only way, and this gets connected to this, connected to this, connected to this. You can't go out with a test kit and get all those pieces. There's no way to do it. The best way is to work with the energy of the tree, communicate with the tree, find out what's going on with the tree. And how does the problem get solved? It's collaborating with the tree, collaborating in partnership with the tree. That's what's important. We call it partnership. That's what real partnership, finding out what the tree needs, then help working with it, collaborate with it to help it get what it needs, help it get these parts connected back up again. That's what this is all about. Also, when it comes to working with the insects and diseases, it's about collaborating with the insects and diseases, but it's also partnering with the tree to find out what it needs in order, and what the insects and diseases need. That's what real partnering is. People say, well, I partner with my trees, I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. No, it's finding out exactly what that tree wants. It's working with the energy of the tree, okay? And that's what you do. Otherwise, you're interfering with the tree. Because if you don't know exactly what it wants, then you're interfering with it. If you're interfering with it, then you're hurting the tree. That's what's going on. Thank you very much.